بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. I would like to welcome you all for this workshop. Before I get into the workshop, I will give you a briefing about the program. This program basically is an 8-week program. And it's a very strategic program that we have been having for quite some time. When I say quite some time, we are talking about an extension of, or a period of basically 25 years. So when we started calling it effective, Islamic, we called it English for Da'wah. But later on, it evolved, and it has become what we are going to be presenting to you today. So, secondly, I would like to apologize for the changing of the location because of the conflict that happened in Wami. It's been hectic for all of us to find a location, but I would like really to thank the management here, headed by Ustad Muhammad, who's graciously has given us this place. I would like really to thank him very much for supporting something that is very essential for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah bless him and bless his family and bless all of those who have contributed to make sure that we come here and make this a success story today. And I'm sure it's going to be a success story. Okay. Jazakumullah khair. Now, so please, I apologize on behalf of Wami, and I apologize also on behalf of the team, because there was a miscommunication somewhere that has happened, but we insisted that this program will be conducted today because we have to respect the fact that we have announced it. Even we said if we had to go to a hotel to do it. And we've already, if we didn't get this place, we were going to another hotel that we've already prepared. So it wasn't going to be cancelled. To that extent, we were really, and we want to be disciplined about this. You see, again, my apologies for all. Now, going back to the program. As I've mentioned, this program has been in the market for quite some time, market of Da'wah. It has been so fruitful and has made a big impact. As a matter of the strange thing is that this program started where, you know, the first session, where was the first session conducted? And it used to be called English for Da'wah in Al-Bassam Institute. Supported by who? Yusuf Al-Bassam, Abu Hamid. May Allah bless this man. Believe me, whenever I have a problem and I get some difficulties, when I remember Yusuf, he would never say no to me. Never in his lifetime. When I called him, he said no to me. Luckily, the strange thing is somebody is arranging this, and he never came to my attention that Yusuf, basically, to call Yusuf to arrange for that. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing it back in the, Alhamdulillah, in Al-Bassam Institute. Now, going to the program. I will give you a briefing about the 8-week program. The 8-week program, not today. Today is only one session, very important session, of course, very powerful one that we will go through. But the program, as you could see from here, it tackles, it's called what? Effective Islamic English Cross-Cultural Communication Skills. So basically, we are trying to develop the skills in communication, cross-culturally. Look at that, I'm going backward. We're trying to, develop the skills in communication amongst cultures, okay? And most importantly, the Islamic English, so that we present an effective Islamic English to the people and to understand our Islam much better. That's the most important thing now. Now, you could see how many things are here. There are skills, there are competencies, there are communication, there are cross-cultural, there is Islamic English. And just to tell you something which is maybe I shouldn't be saying it, but the day before yesterday, I got my PhD in this program. In how to develop a human being in the field of Da'wah in this program. So this accumulation of experience, we put it in a PhD now to be, inshallah, circulated and documented and sent all over the world. And it's going to go to Netherlands in 3 weeks' time. It will be in one of the university called Lahai University, and it will be used as a reference for as many people as possible in the world, so that you know how to cross-culturally communicate with those people with with other cultures and communicate Islam in the best way. We have a lot of problem when it comes to communicating Islam. We Muslims are blessed with a treasure. We are blessed with nuggets. We are blessed with a lot of things. But if you don't know how to communicate that cross-culturally, what's the use? Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has been sent as a mercy for all the people. And he said, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي, convey about me, even if it is one verse. Now, this is a big duty and a mandated duty, required duty that we must work hard to make sure that we do it. If we don't do it, somebody else is doing as against us. Somebody else is doing something else. Okay, so we have to be careful, because this is like a counter-attack, let me say, a counter-argument, a counter-communication in a very peaceful way, in the best way, so that we live with the other people in the best way and communicate our Islam in the best way. Whether they accept Islam or they don't want to accept Islam, it's their choice. At the end of the day, we are mandated to convey the message of Islam. There is no excuse for any Muslim. So we have to do it. Now, so this is basically the title of the program. Now, we claim, and this is open for updating and revision by people. If you feel like you want to revise this, it is open. Basically, what we are saying, the vision is for every individual to excel in cross-cultural communication, and it creates a peaceful tomorrow for the whole world. If you could please, the mobile, if we could just put it on silent, that would be better. I'm doing it for myself because I think this is also very important. I'm getting an old, so I cannot see very well, but I'll turn it off so that everybody will do the same, because this sometimes is disturbing for the flow of the thinking, so we need to make sure we do it smoothly. And we understand what we're saying here. So that's basically the vision, is to every individual excels in cross-cultural communication and creates a peaceful tomorrow for the whole world. The mission, we Muslims add divine values. We don't just add any values. We add divine value from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Divine values to the whole world through what? Again, effective cross-cultural communication skills. Hence, better solution for the whole world. And this is what the whole world is waiting for. Better solution. The whole world is aching. The whole world is bleeding. You see? But the solution is where? In Islam. This is why you are so precious for the whole world. So if we don't do it, okay, who will? You know, only those people who counter, unfortunately, Islam, they will spread the wrong misconception about Islam, and they will spread all the wrong things in the world that will destroy the world and will have immorality, and this will lead to what? Destruction instead of construction. Islam always looks at construction. هو الذي أنشأكم في الأرض واستعمركم فيها. It is Allah who has made you grow in this land, and He has made you inhabit this land. Why? For construction, to make it constructive, you know, and not just construction in the building. It is construction in the human. Okay, and that's the most powerful thing. When you what? You make construction in the human being, in his thinking, in his feeling, in his thoughts, in his relationship. Construction, 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 not destruction, as against what they claim. Islam is the way of terrorism. It is the opposite. Islam is the way of construction, not destruction. And the way of destruction is the way of shaitan. But the way of construction is the way of Rahman. Okay? Now, this pyramid is very important. I always show it. Why? Because when you want, you see, these are things. Look at this now. Look at the arrow. In the world, there are events happening. We tend to take a stand. We tend, when there is an event in the media or around the world, what happens to us? We tend to take a stand. And our thinking has a pattern. Whether this pattern is right or wrong, okay? But there is usually a pattern. Now, if you want to have the right pattern, it is very important in any workshop or a program to have activities that will hit deep into the character of the person. We claim that this program that we have designed and developed hit deep into the character of the person. So it doesn't change only his, it does not change only his what? Knowledge. No, it's not. We're not concerned with the knowledge in as much as the character for that, when you hit deep in the character, what will happen? That same individual will go to the knowledge. That same individual will strengthen his skills. So basically, we try to create more opportunities in the workshop, in the program, through the 8-week, to make sure that the individual is a teacher, is a student, is a reflector, is a participant. There is no such a thing as one lecture lecturing, or a facilitator facilitating. We are all partnering in the process of learning together. Okay? And that's the strength of this program. And this is based on a very, very highly learning philosophies that are so updated, that are so powerful in basically changing the character, so that that character will have sustainability in what? In pursuing more knowledge, in developing the skills, so that that individuals will be so competent to deal with any encounters or events in the world, and will have wisdom. This is the outline of the program. It's very simple. You have basically the rationale, the objective, requirements, course material. Let me just skip this quickly because I've already covered something while I was talking. But that's basically it. The rationale is very simple. I'm trying to simplify this because that's not just the rationale. There are other things that I'm coming to, the objectives. The rationale, there are many people who speak what? English well, and maybe not well, but speak English reasonably well, let me say. And who have good knowledge of Islam, yet they are what? Unable to communicate effectively cross-culturally in what? In Islamic English. Okay? They shy away from using English or Islamic English because that's for them difficult to do. Even though it might not be difficult, but they are not used to using Islamic English. And Shaitan will always make it appeal to you that, oh, I don't have the language. Oh, I don't have the terminology. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have this. Till he takes you away from your duty. So what we're trying to do is to break the barrier between you and using your Islamic English. So you live in an incubation. You live in a period of 8 weeks where you learn how to use basically Islamic English using sentences, Islamic sentences, Islamic English sentences, statements, where you are basically hit with a lot of discussion by Muslims and non-Muslims, where we create a good role play simulation where you basically see in reality how to deal with even non-Muslim, because we bring even non-Muslim. And that's a very interesting part, of course. I'm going to go over these activities quickly. Now, these are the objectives. By the end of the course or the program, I prefer to call it program, but here I'm calling it a course because I can use it also as a course in one of the universities. And by the way, this is one of the targets that we're trying to do, to make sure that this is a course that is taught in all universities as required for every Muslim. And this is the idea when we went to Malaysia. This is the idea, this is the message that we sent. In my thesis, this is what I recommended, to have a department called cross-cultural communication, in addition to a major called cross-cultural communication. Lastly, in a course that is required in a university for every student, like, the general courses that are given, the first semester and the second semester, exactly the same thing. Because if you can develop this cross-cultural communication course, what will happen? Our participant Muslims will be basically able to communicate cross-culturally and will improve their Islamic English, and they can convey the message of Islam in a very lucid and a clear way. And that's what we have recommended, what I have recommended in my thesis. Okay, so basically, by the end of the course or the program, the participants will have acquired the following: an improvement of the intercultural or cross-cultural Islamic English communication competence. Okay. Also, they are going to be able at the end of the program to discuss Islamic concepts in English. Thirdly, they will be able to give a presentation, short presentation, on Islamic topics of their choice, the participants, and there will be also an awareness of the subtleties, the hidden meaning of some of the words in English, because there are some hidden meaning. So basically, we'll be raising some of the words that might confuse us, or you might be using it in English. It has a different meaning than in Arabic, and we have to be careful about it, using it, like the word worship, the word religion, there are other words that you have to be very careful when you use them. Also, there will be a reasonable knowledge of Islamic terminology, Also, a reasonable knowledge of necessary terminology for other religions, whether it is Christianity, Hinduism, whatever it is. We'll be tackling this. Also, we will ignite, this is the most important thing for me, is that those people who are not used to delivering the message of Islam, using their English that Allah has blessed them with, we will ignite their passion to start thinking seriously about using this English language. Unfortunately, we have hundreds of thousands of people who speak the language. Tell me, how many of them are using their English language in Islam to spread the message of Islam? We brag about learning the language. Okay? We are always passionate. Oh, I speak English like an American. So what? Big deal. I'm speaking English like this, like that. So what? What's the use of the language if you don't use it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? A language is a blessing. You've been blessed with this language. Whether it's Arabic or English or French or whatever, make sure you use it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you don't use this language, if you learn English just to be an engineer or a doctor, Allah will never bless you. You have to make sure you utilize this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? And you've been blessed with this powerful blessing. Don't leave it just for shaitan to take you away, just to concentrate on your major or your discipline, and you say, this is it. No. This is why we have this program, by the way. There are thousands of Saudis, thousands of Omanis, thousands of Qataris, Egyptians, Nigerians. Many people speak India. They speak the language. But tell them, are you using the language for the sake of Islam? Are you using Islamic ink to spread the message of Islam? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves and ask them when we see them. So, now, of course, this is the methodology. This is a model that I use all the time in designing a program. This is a very important model that whenever you have to make sure that you don't lecture people. You have to make sure that you don't go to the reading, because if you lecture, 5% will be retained. If you read, 10%. If you have audiovisual, 20%. But if you teach people, the retention rate will be what? 90% retention. Not only that, look at these arrows. You will develop a character of giving, because when you start learning, you get knowledge or skill. But when you start teaching, you build a character and values of sharing and caring. And that's the strength of going up. It is not just retention rate. No, it is building a character. It is building values, building ethics of sharing and caring with others. Because when you start teaching people, that means you care. And that means you build a character. And that means you build your confidence. That means you build your what? Your repertoire, your retention, your words, your statements, more. Because when I stand here, it's a different when I sit there and listen. Completely. And the fact that you sit there, when you start walking from there till here, your feeling is learning. You could see if your feeling is changing. Because, your heart starts what? Huh? Oh, very nice. That's learning. That's learning also, because your feeling is learning in the process. Because a human being is an enigma, means a mystery. There are many compartments in the human being. You cannot just teach the intellect. You have to teach the recreational part, the spiritual part, the feeling part, many parts in that human being. So if you teach traditionally, this is why we don't succeed in our education. So you have to make sure you take that person in toto, completely. And that's, of course, when you teach, what will happen? Your potential will come out. You'll see that individuals, his talents, his capabilities are out. He could see his strength better. And he will feel good, and he will achieve, and that will make him even want to achieve more. And that's basically the program, the requirements of the program. Participants' willingness to what? To commit themselves to presenting Islam. And we are not doing it here for the sake of money. We are doing it for that individuals will commit themselves for the sake of presenting Islam and making sure that they cross-culturally spread the message of Islam and stand with the pride, not with compromise. Okay? Again, Islam, okay, so participants should be able to take part in conversation. Okay? This is the requirements. Also, participants must possess a basic level of fluency. A basic level. We're not talking about very advanced. Okay? Participants' previous experience as du'at, this is not necessary in this workshop. We want everybody to participate in this workshop. It's good for the students in universities, it's good for our children at home, it's good for doctors, engineers, English teachers. They have to think seriously about that. And, okay, the duration of the program or the course consists of 32 hours, 16 hours. in a class and 16 hours working on projects. But when we say in a class, we don't mean the traditional way of teaching. You have to understand that. When we say in class, it is basically they go outside 16 hours of input and they come to class 16 hours of output. Again, remember what I said. You go up, they start teaching each other. They start learning from each other. They start listening to each other. They start communicating with each other. And the facilitator role is not teaching. It is basically making the environment conducive to a healthy learning where people interact in community of commitment. They commit themselves to a cause. And our cause is very clearly spelled out by the divine message of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if the message is clearly spelled out, the cause is clear. The shared vision is clear. But what we are trying to create is this learning individual, and learning team, and learning organization, and learning community, and learning what? Society, and learning world, where we learn together in the process by conveying the message. Of course, as I said, the participants should be doctors, people who speak the language. I speak a little, it's not necessarily very advanced language, but at least they have something. And even if they have very poor language, they will be learning in the process. Now, these are some of the materials that we are using. We don't say you have to do this, you have to take this material or this book. No, no. We say these are books that we prefer that can be used. Because the most important thing in our program is not the book per se, it is the competencies, the skills that we are building, the character that we are building. But the content, you have all of this that we are using, or some of the books that we will be providing for certain events and activities. And these are some of the websites. And our website is basically, my website is da'wabimwah.com. This is a page that I have. If you visit it, you'll find all those graduates who produce PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so you can benefit from it, especially the last one. The other ones is you can just, it's not mine. Basically, this is just a page. And even it's not my site. They've given me only a page there. And this is we said about evaluation process. We all participate in the process of evaluating each other. While we are in the 8-week program, we participate together in evaluating each other, evaluating ourselves, and evaluating even the facilitator and the people who come. So it's not like the teacher will be, or the facilitator will be evaluating. No, we all part of the evaluation process. Every individual is evaluating. Everyone is evaluating. We partner again together in the process of learning, in the process of evaluation, in the process of reflection, in the process of, that's the beauty of this workshop and program. Evaluation tools, these are the evaluation tools that we are using. We have the presentation checklist. We give you criteria for presentation when you stand like me, and you have to watch and be vigilant of some criteria when you stand. Okay, eye contact, clarity of the voice, varying your voice. Sometimes you say loudly something, you raise your voice loudly, sometimes you go down. You have to be careful about these things. Sequence of your words or statements, okay? How you start, how you end, all of this, we give you criteria at the beginning of the program so that you get used to these criteria. And also we give you conversation criteria. We call it oral, like oral hygiene, for the dentist, the same thing, conversation. There are certain criteria when you talk, when you converse with each other. What criteria you're supposed to be watching. The other one is, of course, an encounter evaluation form where we send you out. We say, go and meet non-Muslim and conduct a natural conversation with him. And we ask you certain questions. When you go there, we say, look, you go there. But we decide on questions to tell you, make sure that when you come back, you do this, you do this, you do that, you do that. And that's basically, I'll go over it later on. But basically, it's very simple. It's your feeling before you saw that person, or him or her. Your feeling after, and your feeling while you were talking. Questions you ask, answer you got. Answers you got. And your overall impression. That's basically, this is the encounter. And everything you do, you start putting it in this form. And you come here, and stand in front of everybody, and you start saying, look, I saw such and such, he is from USA, or he's from the Philippines, or he's from India, and I struck a conversation with him, and I started saying this and that and that. He's basically a non-Muslim from that area, but also his denomination, his sect is this, and I started with them to make sure that I break the ice, and we start basically, you explain exactly what happened. Now, you stand in front of people, and people start after that evaluating you, and evaluating what happened, and evaluating how you did it, evaluating the questions and the answers. So basically, this is, together, we are evaluating this process. These are all the activities. Now, this is very interesting, of course, that this is the most difficult part. At the beginning of this program, when you come, what do? You are supposed to deliver a speech. Not a speech, just a 4-minute or 3-minute talk. We call this baseline talk. It's like a placement test. When you come to the center like Al-Bassam, they give you what? Placement test. True or not? Why? They want to see your level. The same thing we do it. But we do it differently. We do it in just talking. You stand in front of people, and we make sure, first of all, you introduce yourself. You say why you are here. Then you tell us if you had an encounter with a non-Muslim before. How was it? Quickly. We are evaluating 2 things here. Your level of English, and of course, your experience in this field. Okay? This is very important for us because bear in mind that after that you will be working in teams. So we need to know who is stronger than who. Okay, because teams are interdependent. Basically everyone depends on the other. There are some people who are strong. There are some people who are what? Weak. Or maybe in between. Okay, so this is a very important example. And not only that, what do? We film you while you are talking. Why is that? So that you can take that film to your wife and show it how you were so embarrassed, how you were sweating. So your weakness will be shown to your wife, and she will be happy enjoying herself seeing you in weakness. So basically, that is very important for you to go and take, look, my wife, I'm so strong here. But don't show her this one, show her the other one at the end of the program, 8 week, where you're going to stand and present your final presentation when you are what? So strong, so macho, so that she will not make fun of you. Okay, so if you show her that one, you're going to be shaking all around. But if you show her the other one, you're going to be standing there in front of her, bragging about you, how strong you were. So it's very good to show that you're strong. You know. These are men usually will show the strength, and they will forget about the weakness, try to hide it somewhere. So basically, this is like a good. You start with this one, and by the end of the 8th week, you will be filmed in your final presentation to see how you progressed. That's the beauty of this exercise. Now, of course, when you come at the beginning, we burn you. Basically, we ask you difficult questions. We challenge you. We try to put you on the spot, embarrass you by asking you some question to show that you are in need for this program. Thirdly, there is exercise, very important exercise. This is exactly what we're going to be doing today, reading loudly in a certain way. And you must do it, this one, because this is very important exercise. It might sound awkward for some, funny for some, but believe me, this exercise is so powerful. And you have to do it at home. Okay? This one. You do this, you have to do it every week. And you have to read the basic concept of Islam in a certain way. And we have also this exercise, why convert? You read, this is a must homework, like the previous one, a must homework. You read a story of somebody who became a Muslim. Why is that? You read it, you learn in the process. What do you learn in the process? You learn how this individual became a Muslim. True? What keys led this person, him or her, to accepting Islam? So if you read one story, my friend reads one story, Abu Isa reads another story, and my friend Abu Abid reads another story, and everybody comes next week. What will happen? Everybody will bring us what we'll talk about the keys that led this person to accept Islam. So if we have 20 people and everybody brings 3 keys, how many keys we have? 60 keys. Maybe we could use these keys to open the heart of some people in the future when you discuss. So basically these are very important stories of how people became Muslim. And the beauty of it, you see other cultures in the process. Beautiful. And I love reading people how they became Muslim. It's very interesting to read a story every week. So this is a must exercise. Also, this is the exercise, again, for the read loudly. We call it communication ladder. And we have also the jigsaw exercise. This is what you're going to be doing today. And I will be distributing this later on. I have a brochure. And basically, we will go through steps. Maybe we'll cover this one, but maybe we're not going to cover this one because we don't have that many books here. But we will be, I might be distributing something else, another post, basically article or posters or maybe brochures. Okay. Also in the program, you will be observing people talking, standing. This is observing mini presentation, observing mini lectures. You will sometime, if there is a lecturer who is so famous like Zakir Naik is coming, or any lecturer that we think is strong, we can go and visit these Islamic centers, and after that we go in teams, and we jot down some information, and we get this information, we come here and we share what happened in this presentation, the introduction, the body, the conclusion, the question and answer. Now another exercise that we'll be giving you is this one, which is similar, but you don't go to a field. Here you just go, we distribute you into teams. You go after 1 week, basically through that week, you watch together a video stream. You watch, for example, Allah Yarhamah, Sheikh Ahmed Didat, or Zakir Naik, or Bilal Philip, or any of those great exemplary speakers. Why? Because you will be learning in the process how they communicate. You will be learning in the process how they present. You will be learning in the process all the criteria of communication. You will be watching them. You will be watching them. As a team, somebody will take care of the introduction. Somebody or two, maybe or three, will take care of the body. Another one will be taking care of the conclusion. Another will be taking care of what? Of the question and answer. Okay, so this one, the previous, by the way, when you go outside and meet a non-Muslim, we call it analysis of encounter. This one, we call it video watching of famous exemplary speakers. And this is very interesting. Another exercise that I have not included here, bringing, this is, I'm going to talk about it, is conducting, of course, a dialogue with, this is with any target encounter, I said that. This is where we analyze the encounter. And the other one is, basically, is where real discussion with the target audience. We bring really non-Muslim to visit us, and we have communication with them. And we had volunteers before from non-Muslim. American came, visited us. Filipino came, visited us. Canadian came and visited us. And they all conducted real discussion with them. It was very interesting. They evaluated our responses. We evaluated the whole encounter with them. And it was very interesting. We really enjoyed it. We learned a lot from each other. And we told this non-Muslim, please be frank. Don't hide anything. If you don't like it, you tell this guy said something that is not right. Or he said something that is so bad. He has insulted my feeling. So it is a real encounter, a real communication that is really happening. Now, also, this is where we respond. And sometimes we tell this non-Muslim to raise some misconceptions. Sometimes we bring somebody who will just raise misconceptions. Not necessarily non-Muslim. He might be one of us, or he might be like Brother Ahmed Nuruddin. By the way, Brother Ahmed Nuruddin, just to mention his name here, for the sake of filming him, so that he will come here with me, that he is one of the designer of this program. We started together 30 years ago, and when we started this program. I got stuck with him for the past 30 years. You know how miserable I am now. You know? I still got stuck with him, alhamdulillah. And this is the best getting stuck. You see, alhamdulillah. I was talking about him when I was defending my thesis 2 days ago, and I mentioned his name, and I mentioned something very bad about him, joking, very good about him, basically. And really, we started this program, and I really have the pleasure of, in this life, to have what do you call it, strong camaraderie, strong brotherhood. May Allah bless him. And inshallah, we'll be meeting in Jannah all together. Inshallah. Bi-idhnillah. Inshallah. And we have to be hopeful that we're going to get to Jannah to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day. So, also we have role play and scenarios. We have also attending we bring a lecturer here, and he will be talking, then we'll fire questions at him. And there will be real discussion with the lecturer. Sometimes we bring Sheikh Sayyid Iqbal. We bring sometimes other people, but mostly Sheikh Sayyid, and we might bring somebody to give a lecture, and we just ask him questions so that we'll have a real, basically, question and answer session with the lecturer. Now, lastly, of course, you are required on the third week to give your title for your final presentation. And your final presentation and your title has to be has to be introducing Islam and presenting Islam. No debate, no dialogue, not of that sort. You stand in front of the audience thinking that you have in front of you non-Muslim who are really desirous to listen to you, who need to understand about Islam. So your topic should be about the basic of Islam and basically in presenting Islam to those or to the non-Muslim audience. So this is usually we do this on PowerPoint presentation. On the third week, you give your title. On the 8th week, you give your final presentation. And this is where we'll give you a certificate. This is your passing, basically, as I say, project. And of course, when we see that you are a good exemplary speaker, one of the best speakers that you have really excelled in this program, maybe we will put you in our database as one of the good speakers to be suggested to one of the cooperative centers and one of the cross-cultural communication, basically, centers that we have around here, at Ta'awini, Al-Marakiz Ta'awini, or whatever. So you will be suggested as one of the names that can be, as one of the names that can be lecturing in this workshop or these centers, or you can be suggested for, if, for example, anybody asks us to come and talk to a non-Muslim, we say, this person is ready to go. So we call it, please, could you please go to so-and-so, because he is much interested about Islam. Could you explain to him this concept? Or somebody who's just become a Muslim, he needs somebody to teach him how to learn the prayer, how to teach him something about Islam. And we have a database now of hundreds of people who have attended this program. But of course, we don't know what they're doing. But we could see the effect and the positive effects of many of the individuals, alhamdulillah. That's basically it. This is the program, the 8-week program. And just to go quickly on the program, that's the program. Can you, maybe if you can put the camera on this one. Basically, week one you have the baseline talk, as we mentioned. And it's not just the baseline talk and the burning platform. The week 2, we have the language sensitivity. Week 3, we have analysis of encounter. And also, we have with it, I have not put it here, we have with the ladder of communication, what we're going to be doing now. I need to put it here. I've forgotten it. But basically, the ladder of communication goes with this sometimes. And the analysis of encounter, maybe we don't finish it, so we scatter it during the 8 weeks. Okay. And we have also basic Christian principles, where we bring somebody who would imitate that he is a Christian, and he would basically raise some of the issues, and we will basically responding to him. We have week 5, also misconception, where we bring real non-Muslim and we communicate with them. Again, week 6 might be misconceptions or somebody else, maybe, or something else, like the activity about video watching. You see, we vary, it depends. So sometimes we change some of the activities because we have many activities that require not 8 weeks, require more than 8 weeks. Okay, we have also the mini lecture. And of course, in the 7th and the 8th week, we start the final presentation so that we will reward you at the end of the day. But of course, the most important reward is the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's basically the plan. 2 hours in the classroom, 2 hours assignment. Second week, the same thing, 2 hours in the classroom, 2 hours assignment. The third week, 2 hours in the classroom, 2 hours assignment. The 4th week, 2 hours in the classroom, 2 hours assignment. The same thing, 5th week, 2 hours in the classroom, 2 hours assignment. The 6th week is scenario with a non-Muslim activity, 2 hours in the classrooms. Of course, the assignment during the week. Then the 7th week, activity also for the 2 hours. For 2 hours, then you have the assignment. And of course, the 8th week, you have the final participants' presentations and projects. And of course, if we find somebody who is exemplary and we'd like to really arrange, we'll arrange. But usually we leave it for the individual to do it on himself. And some individuals have continued to do other activities on their own. Alhamdulillah. That's basically the program. with this, I would like really to thank you. Now, that's the program. You could, and this is now the exercise that we're going to be doing today. Now, before we start, we can just go pray now, then we'll start the exercise. I'm worried that they will take longer time. The exercise will take some time. Now, if you are ready, we will take like 2 hours. It will take us 2 hours. Are you ready for the 2 hours? Because the exercise usually takes more than that, but I'll see if we can shoot faster. I don't want you to spend, because I took some time explaining the program, but I was so keen on explaining the program because it's very important for you to take it and for you to even facilitate. The program is not difficult. You could take it, you could facilitate it, because it's very well spelled out and laid down for you. It's just a matter of understanding for 1 or 2 hours and attending the program for 8 weeks if possible. Then you can take it over, you facilitate it, you take it to your country, to your home, to wherever you go, and you do a program like that. So it's not that difficult. Okay, now I'll stop here. So maybe if you could stop the filming here. Then we will start the exercise. Now let's just go pray.